And let's just say that meeting my birth mother was not everything that I wanted, but it was everything that I needed. So hey again, if we're meeting for the first time, this is Tell Your Story, and my name is Nason. I'm an alcoholic who's just trying to stay sober, and here on the channel we document my life and the lives of others and try to teach different ways of how to reach sobriety and how to stay on the road. I have such a fantastic story to tell you guys tonight because if you've been following along the last couple of months, we've gone on this adventure together, an emotional roller coaster about my life. I'm adopted, and if you haven't seen the first two videos, I'll leave a link for them up at the top. I suggest that you go to that playlist under 23andMe and watch those two before this one. Last time we spoke, I had gotten my 23andMe results, and we went through and found out that I'm very much Irish, and I made some connections with family on 23andMe. Some second cousins, and things have sort of gotten a little bit deeper. Gosh, after that night of finding out, more of the chemical makeup of who makes me, or what makes me who I am, I also got in touch the same night with a second cousin who sent me this message. She said, it looks like we have great grandparents in common, which I'll throw a picture up of here. Ambi and George, these two are my great grandparents. As it turns out, they had somewhere between 12 and 16 children. I'm feeling for you right now, Ambi. Your uterus was on fire that year. Yeah. They spawned what was a huge family that lived in them, for the most part, in parts of Missouri. A lot of that family is still there, and I've actually gotten to get in touch with a few of those people. Here's the fun part. I have to mention my second cousin, and her name is Julie, and Julie was the one who really put all of this into motion. She sent me some pictures of a family tree that she had put together that lined out everyone in that family, or at least who was willing to get in contact with her and tell her more about them. And she's like what you would call like a citizen private eye. I don't know if you've ever gotten in touch with someone, family or not, that you just seem to have like that connection with, one that just sort of crosses all barriers. That's kind of what I think Julie and I might have in a way. It's, two people who are adopted. Julie's adopted, by the way, and we share this commonality of trying to find who we are. I hope that she'd say the same. I hope that's not weird, but too late. I'm not cutting it. So immediately after talking with Julie and seeing a bunch of names of family, we went down the rabbit hole of trying to find out which one of those 12 to 16 kids had some other children, and then one of those children would, of course, be my mother. So we went down the line. We looked up family and other names, like last names. 23andMe gives you a lot of last names to sort of look at. It was such an emotional roller coaster going through these names, trying to figure out where would I belong in this scheme of people. There's just so many people in this family. And then we got to give more kudos because Julie sent me another email, this time listing a few last names that she thought had family members that might have been stationed in Mississippi at the time of my birth. By stationed, I mean in the military, because we thought that maybe I was born like one of my family members, either mother or father, was in the military. So knowing this day and age, I went to scrolling. So I went to Facebook like I usually do, started looking up these names, like the last names of folks, and then I would put in like a destination like Gulfport or somewhere on the southern tip of Mississippi where I was born, and I came across something interesting. So I don't know if you know someone that's adopted, but one crazy thing is that you wake up every morning and you wonder, like, I have family members that look like each other, they have the same nose, same eyes. That's not an emotion I've ever felt before. I look in the mirror every day and I see me, but I don't see anyone that looks like me, so I don't know where all of this comes from, right? Well, came across a profile of a woman, an older gal who lived in the southern part of Mississippi, and man, she just looked like me, or I looked like her. Of course, Corey is there the whole time. I gave the picture to her. Corey was like, yeah, this one, she fares you. She looks a lot like you. If you're adopted or you're out there, I know that the fear really is like, what do you do now? Well, I decided to direct message this person on Facebook. I'm going to leave the example of the message that I sent here on the channel because I want you to have that example. I think a big fear point for a lot of people is like, what do I say? I didn't know what to say. I was just as as scared, as maybe you are out there trying to contact somebody who doesn't know me technically. But this is what I sent, and I'll leave that up here. I basically said, you don't know me, but it looks like your last name might be one that came up. I am the great-grandson of such and such, and we could be related. That same night, I got another message, and it was from this lady, and she, oh man, this was huge. The message sent was, "Are you looking for your mother?" So I answered back. I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And then I think she asked, "Can I ask why?" And I was like, "I'm just curious, trying to find out where I'm from. I was born here, this age, at this year, blah, 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 my birthday." And then she answered back, "I'm your mother." I found her. Now, just to say, this is a lot of information in a short amount of time. You have to admit, I went from finding out my results from 23andMe to finding my birth mother in a matter of a few days. And so you have to know that, I'm an addict, an alcoholic. And in the past, I would have thrown alcohol all over this to make sure that I could handle the situation. But today, I have family that surrounds me that I can talk to, that answer questions, that worry about me, and I can communicate. So I'd like to say I handled this pretty well. At least, hey, I'm not taking back any beers. So yeah, she contacted me back. And we didn't just talk, man. She sent some voice stuff to me. She sent some messages with her voice.
"Everyone in our family is tall, baby. I'm 5'10". Your brother's 6'7". Your sister's 6 foot.
That's her. That's my birth mother. And then we ended up talking for a long time. I had some questions about, my father and if I had brothers and sisters. And then something else happened. I decided to FaceTime her. And guess what? She answered. So we actually talked face to face the first night that I've ever had contact with my birth mother. So from there, she told me that I had a half brother, a half sister. My great-grandparents actually had 16 children, and that a few of them passed away, so now it's 12 or 14, something like that. They're a huge family. It turns out that my grandparents died when my mother was 14, so she was on her own. And I'll be honest, she lived a pretty tough life. So here I am, I'm learning, and I'm hearing all this stuff about family, blah, blah, blah. And let's just say that meeting my birth mother was not everything that I wanted, but it was everything that I needed. So let's fast forward a little bit more, and I come to find out she answered this question for me. She got really drunk one night, went to a military camp, and I was the consequence of that. I think you can play that out in your mind. My birth father shipped out, being in the military the next couple days later, so she doesn't even know his name. So that's a doorway that just hasn't opened just yet. But the story doesn't end there, because I decided to get on Facebook again, and I went to town looking for, my birth mother gave me the names of my half brother and my half sister. I did find both of them, and I have to say this because it's a little weird. You go your whole life wondering where you come from. They're just shut doors that you don't seem to have the keys for. My birth mother and my brother and my sister, half brother, half sister, live 15 minutes away from my family today. Paul and Martha, my mom and dad today, they live on the coast of Mississippi, and we are within a driving distance of the people I'm made of. If you're not adopted, maybe you don't understand this, but it's really weird. Yep. The exciting part of this journey is that we've learned a lot in a short period of time. But see, that's really the most stressful part about this, is that we've learned a lot in a really short amount of time. Thank God my wife is here, because she's a great support, and I have family that contacts me every day. My sister, gosh, she is messaging, calling. She's like, "What you got now? Where you going now? Who is this? Who is this?" Sorry, Lucy. But that being said, the journey continues. Now, here's the next plan. So this is the third episode in my 23andMe series, and this part's going to get interesting, because the next step is to actually make physical contact with some of these folks. Now, I will tell you that my birth mother has given me an open invitation to see her. So next time Corey and I head to the coast, we may just pop in and say hi. On the other side of things, I did reach out to my half-brother and my half-sister, but I haven't gotten much back from them. I don't know where that's going to lead. I know where my half-brother is, and I could step over and say hi. I don't want to corner somebody. And look, that may be difficult for anybody. You know, do you just want to show up out of the blue and say hello? He did see the message that I sent to him, but I tell you what, I'm probably going to overstep my boundary and just go, you know, because at this point, what's the worst you can do? Tell me to leave? It's definitely a gamble, reaching out there and trying to discover who you are. I know I'm not the only person in the world who doesn't know their origins, where they come from, or who made them. But the journey of, you know, learning about family, you know, the help that I got from my cousin Julie, it's a gift, right? A gift that I never really thought that I'd received, but I have. And the joy of that is I'm not really interested in getting to a destination. I'm really just excited about the process of opening and flipping the pages of my family history. And if you're wondering whether or not, you know, you want to find out who you are, I'm not real sure that I wanted to find out. I got an inkling of curiosity and decided to go for it. And, you know, whether or not these people decide to reach out to me or to make contact like I did, I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath. Family is built through relationships. And to be honest, blood doesn't have anything to do with it. My definition of family is the mom, the dad, and the sister who have been there for my 35 young years of being on this earth. They always say that home is where you hang your hat. Well, my family, they're the ones that are always around. I don't have any other definition of family other than that. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Yeah. On that note, if you haven't seen the first two videos, I will put the links to those up here somewhere in the ether, and I want you to watch those. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.